I got a request for a Psoas release video, and I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your feedback and suggestions. I really love having specific things to create for you all. So, for this workout, we're going to be using a foam roller, a foam ball, and a lacrosse ball. And I'll leave a link in the description below for where you can get all of that equipment, along with a link for my Psoas self-release video without any equipment. So let's get to it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the bell for notifications, like this video, share it with your friends and family, and please drop me a comment, reach out on social media. I'd love to hear more suggestions and what you really want and need. So the psoas muscle is attached to the lower lumbar spine, and then all the way down it connects to the femur. So it's a deep abdominal muscle. And then there's the iliacus that kind of wraps around the hips. They're often thought of as the same sort of unit, and they're really, really deep. So part of what we're going to do today, hi kitty, is start by working on releasing the muscles around them so that we can even get deep enough to get in toward that area. But understand that we're not ever really going to get all the way down into the psoas with just ourselves and tools. So first move, we're going to lay down on our backs and really take a second to observe how we're feeling today, where we are, right? Because the psoas, if it's tight, will often pull on the lumbar spine and actually, kind of make you curl under, or it'll make you do that anterior pelvic tilt, right? Instead of being nice and tight here, you're doing this all the time, kind of living in this world. And that doesn't feel comfortable, even if you try it for just a minute. So we're getting down on the ground. Legs are down. The entire body is flat on the floor as much as we can without thinking about it. So as we're here, if you notice that your hips are kind of mismatched, like I feel like my right hip is a little bit lower than my left, just further down my body, that's a great awareness to have. That's where we're starting today. And then I'm going to bring my hand and try and get it underneath the small of my back. It fits all the way. So I have a little bit of that anterior tilt. I'm going to try it on both sides because each hip is different and it might be affected differently. So the goal here is that by the end of the day, or by the end of this video, we're just getting a little closer to the ground. Our back arch will be a little bit closer to the ground. That's the overall goal. So once you have felt where you are right now today, it'll give you more of an understanding and awareness of what this kind of work does for you and whether or not this is what you need to help. So first thing, we're going to grab the foam roller, and again, we're working on the muscles around the psoas to help release them because they are so connected to other areas of the body that if one area is tight, it's likely pulling on something else. So getting down on the foam roller, we're going to lay down on our hip, right? That outside line of the hip, so the tensor fascia latae. And you're going to have your elbow down on the ground, bring that top leg foot in front of you. So it's there really just to kind of help guide and give you support, right? And from here, you want to make sure that your hips are in a line, thinking about making a nice straight line up towards the ceiling. You're going to kind of roll gently up and down. So north-south for the body, right? And let's go for 10 reps rolling up and down. But really, this is kind of a feel thing. So when you feel like this has made a difference and you feel a little more relaxed into the foam roller, that's when you know, okay, that feels good. That release has happened. If you want to make this a little bit more intense, simply lift that bottom leg. Think about flexing the foot as you roll north-south. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's not a huge area, right? You can go as far or as small as you want. So if this is incredibly painful, start smaller. You might be just holding here, right? And as that pain subsides, right, anytime you find a hot spot, you kind of want to hold, relax into it, breathe. And then as it relaxes, then you can start doing that movement, right? So you can also kind of lean forward and backward. So that side to side motion. I like this foam roller in particular, this trigger point, just because I have the hole here and I can use it to help me lean forward and backward. So now, as opposed to going along the muscle fibers, we're going against and across them to really try and get them to relax. So thinking about bringing that shoulder forward and then looking up towards the sky. It's not just the shoulder. You want that hip to move, right? So however this works best for you to maintain control, that's the position you want to be in. If you need to hold onto a wall as you do this and the floor, great. Use it, do it. That's what we're here for. And take a breath. We're going to go straight to the other side, because even if you only feel one side is kind of the problem side, you don't actually know. It could be that the other side is so tense that the painful side is compensating and overcompensating. So they're just working way harder for that side that is not doing enough. So it really behooves you to make sure that you do everything on both sides. So starting out in that position, elbow is down, finding that nice hip forward in a lying position. And we're going to roll up and down, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're doing 10 more, lifting that foot, flexing it. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This side's a little crunchier for me. 8, 9, 10. And again, if you need to just take a moment and take a breath here, you are more than welcome, right? This is about what it feels like for you on any given day, and it's going to be different from day to day. Now moving in that forward back kind of side to side position. All right, I can hold on to the roller, I can hold on to the wall, whatever works best for me. But you're really thinking about moving those hips from straight in that line, forward and backward. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes, good girl. So, moving right along, we're going to get into the adductors, right? So inside, inner thigh, the sartorius. Super important because of this kind of line that the psoas is hitting. You want to make sure to work every different angle if you can, really. So I'm bringing the foam roller kind of at an angle from the mat. And I'm going to lay also almost at an angle. But let's get there first so I can really sort of explain and show you. So I'm laying along the mat. Right, again, I'm down on my forearm, and then the inner thigh is going to be on the foam roller. And you may need to adjust this, so you're almost kind of creating an X with your leg and the foam roller. Leg goes out long, and you can come down onto both forearms. We are gently, because this is very sensitive tissue, rolling up and down the leg, that inner thigh. So again, this is a super sensitive area. And if this feels like too much, you can just hold. right? You can think about relaxing that leg around and just kind of take a few breaths here with that knee bent, just trying to relax so that you get to a place where you can actually start to roll. But as soon as you extend that leg straight, you start to feel it a lot more. And you can roll slowly and with control. You're thinking about kind of like peeling a sticker, but you don't want any of that sticky stuff left on it, on the item. You really want to do it really carefully and gently. And you can go as high as is comfortable and as low above the knee as is comfortable for you. If you have any kind of knee problems, stay a little closer to the middle. So here we go for 5 more. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we can add on from there. Now, that might be good for you and you want to stay in that kind of position. You're in that X with the foam roller and your leg, and your hips are down on the ground. If you want to add on, if you feel good about this, you're going to roll those shoulders back. Lift that back leg off the ground so you're kind of almost in a plank. And then again, you're rolling. You have a little more control when you lift your body off the ground, but it is more work, right? Now, you're also working core. You'll feel it more in that other hip. You're even working those toes on the other foot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, woo, and 10. Take a breath. Oh my goodness, we got to do that on the other side. So of course, you're going to do what feels right for you and listen to your body, right? It may feel a little bit like it's bruised, or you are bruising that inner thigh. That's normal. It is uncomfortable. It's not the most comfortable position, but it is the kind of thing that the more you do it, the easier it gets and the faster that it releases. So it's really beneficial, but be patient with it because it's not an instant kind of thing. So coming over to the other side, first I'm getting elbows down on the ground, extending that back leg down, and I'm going to find that X, right, with my leg. So that the foam roller is perpendicular to this leg that it's working. Here we go for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And anytime you need to feel like you need to readjust the roller, your leg, go for it. There's no rule here, and it's really about finding what works for you. So now we're going to do 10 more with the body lifted in that sort of plank position. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm bring it down just a tiny bit. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, and 10. Oh, you can always just hang out here because that one does make me sweat. So, warming up the body, really opening up all of these hip muscles getting them to relax so that as I want to get into this even deeper, it's a little bit easier, right? So now I'm going to use this foam ball here. This is a foam ball. It has not a lot of give, right? If you were to use a children's ball, it might work if it were really, really well blown up, or a Pilates ball, great option, right? This is going to be a little bit more gentle, and depending on your body size, it might work better for you. If you are smaller, you want something more intense, you want something a little more pointed, this is a lacrosse ball, and it is also a great option. It also really depends on the surface that you are laying down on, because we're going to lay down on this on our belly, right? So it just sort of depends. Everybody's different. You're going to find what works for you through practice and trial and error. And it's really important that you try different things. So I'm going to show you with this foam ball first, because this will work for most everybody, right? And we're going to come lay down on the ball. To find where you want to lay this down, where you want to lay down on, you're going to think about walking your fingers up your hip, right? Find that very top point. And now I want you to walk inward just a little tiny bit so that you're thinking about being able to push in on the inner side of that hip bone, right? That's pretty much where we're going. If you're too low, you might be hitting the bladder and it's going to make you feel like you have to pee a lot, right? But we're going to go right about in there. So you feel that curve, and it's right inside where you can kind of grab your hip bone. So here we go. Laying down on one side. You definitely want to do one side at a time. I'm going to come down onto the ground. Find that position and lay down. So here's the thing. Best practice is to lay here and breathe and relax for about 5 minutes. That may seem like a long time. It's not. It's a great opportunity to, check your email from this position. There's so many other things that you can do while you're here and resting and relaxing, right? Just breathe. You're really thinking about resting and trying to kind of fold over this ball. So I really like to bring my elbows in and just rest my head down so I can try and relax all the way around. And really make sure that you are breathing. If you're holding your breath, it's going to be really hard for anything to release, right? So I like to think of 5 breaths as about a minute. It's probably not quite right, but if you don't have a timer, which I also highly recommend, try and think about just breathing. Take 20 good, solid, focused breaths. So you can probably see the ball just a little bit, right? I'm going to show you with the foam ball, or with the lacrosse ball as well, because you'll see, I can fall over it just a little bit more, but it is going to be a smaller surface, so it's going to be a little more pointed. Same idea. I'm finding that position, and then I'm falling over it, and I can lay kind of more flat here, right? Next step, if you don't really feel anything in this position, think about lifting that free knee up kind of into a Superman position. And then you'll feel something. So again, same concept. All you're doing is breathing and relaxing around that ball. Right? I'm going to bring this onto my other side. I'm going to stay in this position so you see where my leg goes and what I'm talking about, right? Finding it. And again, we're not actually probably getting to the psoas itself per se, because there are organs and tissues kind of in the way, right? But by pressing and trying to use that pressure to release, we are helping to give it a little bit of a rest. So same kind of concept, laying down, I'm on that other side, but now this is my free leg. There's no ball underneath, so I want to add on, I'm just going to lift it up just to wherever it goes, comfortably, naturally. You don't have to try and bring it up to your elbow or anything. You're just really trying to relax as best you can in this position, which may not be super comfortable, right? That's why we got to breathe. That's why we're taking time here, because really the time under tension is what is going to help it release. If we just try and do this for 2 seconds, nothing's going to change. So I'm going to go back to the larger foam ball because I think it's also easier for the camera to see. Right, it's got just a tiny bit more give. I am here. I'm going to open up that leg and breathe and try and fold over. Let's go for 3 more breaths before we add on. So it is important to note that if you are not feeling anything, feel free to move around. You don't have to stay in this position if you don't feel like it's doing anything, right? You have to find what it is for you, because every body is different. So adding on, I'm going to gently roll off of that side, come back to the first side. This is better done with a larger ball. It's going to be a little bit hard on a lacrosse ball just because it is so small, but we're going to try and roll north-south. Tiny. It's not even going to be as high as I'm bringing that ball right now, right? It's a tiny kind of movement, but we're really trying to run along the line of the psoas. So finding that bottom position, I'm going to curl my toes under. I'm coming all the way down onto my forearm, even resting my shoulder toward the ground, because it's all about this side of the body right now. And then rolling very gently, very small. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to go back and see if when I relax down, I get a little deeper, right? If this is just a little bit easier, a little less painful. Okay. I'm going to gently roll off, switch sides. So, same exact thing, finding that other side. Again, I'm staying in this position so you see what the other side kind of looks like. I'm really on that forearm, almost bringing my shoulder down to the ground. And then I'm rolling gently. Oh, this side is harder. Right, I have to kind of adjust a little bit more because this side does not have as much give. But I like doing 10 reps to start because I think that by the time you get through 10, a lot of the time you will feel a little bit of a difference. 5, 6, breathing, 7, 8, 9, And then just try to relax into it and see how that feels. Okay, one more sort of addition. Another way to be a little bit more active in this position. Same exact position, right? You're finding that spot, but we're going to use some breathing. And when we inhale, we're going to lift up, press that thigh into the ground. So I'm going to be in that kind of Superman position. I'm going to start on my left side, that side that's further from the camera, just so you can see what this sort of looks like. So I found the spot, coming down, I'm going to lift that free leg up into that sort of Superman position. So I'm here, right? And now to make it more active, I'm going to inhale. I'm going to curl away from the ball. There's just a tiny little bit of space. And then exhale and fold over. Just really relax. So inhale first, and then you lift off very gently. You're just kind of contracting your back. Think about belly button up towards the spine. And then as you exhale, full mouth exhale, release down and try and relax. So let's go for 9 more. Inhale, lift so there's not pressure on that ball. And exhale, fold down. Just kind of really relax into it. So you can rest your head down. That's not really moving here. Here we go. Inhale. Lift. Pushing that thigh down into the ground. And then you relax down, trying to relax even more fully. Inhale. Lift. Contract away from the ball. And then release. Inhale. Contract away from the ball. Push that thigh down into the ground. And release. Contract away. Relax around. And for this might be too intense to start with 10. Maybe you start with 3 or 5. Lift up and release. Just taking a breath. Here we go. Inhale, contract away from the ball. Press the knee into the ground, press that thigh into the ground, and slowly release. If you want to make it more intense, bring your arms a little further up. You can also kind of be here on your elbows, contract away, and relax. Whatever it is that you need to make this work for you, that's what you should be doing. So if you need to adjust and move around your mat a little bit, go for it, right? Here we go. Inhale. Contract away from the ball. And then roll down onto it. So notice I am getting a little bit flatter, right? I can just kind of relax here if I need to. Let's go for 2 more of these. Inhale, contract away, and then release. Last one on this side. And rest. Roll yourself off. Whew. Definitely feeling it on that side. So again, we're using gravity to assist us. This little ball, it might feel like it's getting kind of bruisey inside. this area, take a break, come back later, do fewer reps, whatever you need to do for yourself. That's what you should be doing. And it's not really actually bruising, but it is very sensitive, right? So we're helping to release, but it takes a lot of pressure, and there's so many other things in there that we are also kind of touching on. So be patient with yourself, because it may take a few times before you really see like, oh, now I've got it. I know exactly where the ball goes. I know how to do this. I got it on the very first try. Take time to understand this kind of process with your body. So bringing that ball over to the other side, we have to do that active drill on the other side. Okay, I'm going to stay up here for these for right now. Inhale, lift, and then try to lower down. Oh, this side does not want to let go already. It's definitely my tighter side right here. So inhale, contract away, and then relax down. If I need a little more support, I'm going to bring my elbows in, right? So I'm just kind of lifting my body slightly off the ground. As I roll myself down, I'm still a little bit more elevated, right? Inhale. Contract away from the ball. Press that thigh down into the ground. And release. Inhale. Lift. You're not really having to move off the ball. You're just thinking about it. And then contract down. Relax. Relax around that ball. I might have to adjust a little bit because maybe something let go. Here we go. Inhale. Contract away. Definitely can feel like this one's already making me sweat, right? Inhale. Contract away. So we are actually working, right? We're flexing that muscle as we pull away and then really trying to release even more. Here we go. Inhale. Lift. And then relax. So that when we relax, because we have just tightened just a tiny bit, when we relax, we might be able to get even more of a release. Really relaxing a little bit deeper. Inhale. Contract away from the ball. Let's go for 3 more here. Oh, definitely feels like something happened, right? I can get a little bit lower to the ground. Inhale. Contract away from the ball, push that thigh down into the ground, and release. Last one. Woo. And now gently bring that leg in, roll off the ball, and push yourself up to seated. Take a breath, take a moment, because that is a lot. And it probably feels like a lot. Make sure to hydrate. Any of these kinds of releases, much like when you get a massage, you're releasing a whole lot of tension, energy. So it helps to kind of flush it out, I think. So we have one more release. And then we're going to do a strength move, because here's the thing. A lot of the time you feel like your psoas is tight, you're feeling all of this tension. Why isn't it letting go? And very likely it's because at least one or several of the muscles in this area are not strong enough. So it really helps to work on hip strength specifically, because, that's where we are, right? And the stronger your hips are, the less you're likely to compensate on one side or the other, because we all have a tendency to do it, right? We're right-handed or left-handed, and we use that dominant side in all kinds of different ways that we're not really thinking about in daily life. So we're going to hit the QL, quadratus lumborum, with this same foam ball. And again, we're going to find it by kind of walking our hand up to the very, very top of the hip bone, right? You're going to find the top part, and then this ball goes there. But it's kind of going into the back side. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm almost laying on it, right? And you can kind of roll here. So wherever you start to feel this, it is not a super comfortable position, but it is a really helpful one, right? So you can keep your elbow down on the ground and just kind of relax into it. Again, take your time, breathe. If you want to set a timer and be here for 5 minutes, that is awesome. But you're just really patiently working into it. As this is more of a demo, we're going to get along and not wait for 5 whole minutes, but we're going to go on to the next element of rocking side to side. So same kind of thing. If you can be down here, great. You can rock side to side, have one hand down on the ground. You can have it on the wall. If I were closer to the wall, here we go, right? Whatever works for you to give you stability in doing this. And then at some point you'll notice, okay, I can get a little lower in a sort of comfortable way, right? Just from doing these kinds of things. 3, and it's a very small move here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we're going in between the hip and the ribs. If you're feeling a lot of pressure on your ribs, you're a little too high. So then you just move down, okay? We have one more active release in this kind of position, right? And all you're doing here is thinking about tucking, squeeze those hips, and then release. So whether your elbow is down, you're resting your head, however you can do this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Gently ease off, because again, that can be a lot. Let's try the other side. I'm actually going to show you from behind, so you just have that view too, because I think it's always helpful to see everything. So again, I am finding the position by finding my hip, going to the very top of that hip bone, right? And then just kind of curling around it, but on the back side. Oh, see, this side does not want me to go down at all. No surprise there. So patiently waiting, just breathing here, just kind of resting into that area, gently allowing myself with every breath to maybe go a little deeper. Now, adding on with that little bit of side to side rocking. as always, if you feel any kind of pain, stop. There's no reason to make this painful. It should not necessarily be a comfortable thing at first, but as you get into it and release, it will get more comfortable. But any kind of pain, stop, readjust, reassess what you're doing. And doing a little check. How am I doing? Can I get a little lower? Still not as good on this side. That's okay. That's just what it is today. And now we're going to do that tuck and untuck. So untuck and tuck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. So I love making it active because I really do feel like just having done those tucks and untucks, that's the thing that helped let go, okay? So try out all the different options. You can play around with it and see what works for you. So very last move here, we are getting into a little bit of strength exercise. And you're still using the ball. We're going to come with our feet on the wall. So I'm coming down, feet are going to go up on the wall, and I want you to first and foremost find a 90-degree position for your knees, right? So if your knees are here, not 90 degrees, right? We're thinking about that dead bug position. So first and foremost, make sure you have that nice 90-degree position with your legs, and then you're going to squeeze that ball in between your knees. So, for some people, this will be a lot. You can always walk your feet out just a little tiny bit so that they're wider than your hips. Because the goal here is engagement of the inner thighs, the hamstrings, the core, right? So, doing a little double check for myself here. I'm going to be squeezing the ball with my knees, but it's really important that your toes are not coming off. Your whole foot is glued to the wall. You want to feel that whole pinky toe side line pushing into the wall. You want to feel that inner side of the foot pushing into the wall. Think about balls of the feet, heel. Everything should be pressing into the wall. And all we're doing, the rest of us gets to relax. We're going to do a nice inhale for about 5 seconds through the nose, and then we're going to do an extended exhale. We're going to work on moving up to about 10 seconds of an exhale through the mouth. So inhale for 5, start exhaling at 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10, right? And when you inhale, you're only inhaling kind of medium depth, because you still want this core to be engaged. You're really going to feel your obliques, the side of your abs, turning on here. So pushing that ball with my knees, feet are engaged, they're pressing. Here we go, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Right? So you can stay here for as long as is comfortable for you. This is a great practice though. If this is really difficult for you, you can always have like a chair or something to help keep you in this position. But honestly, it's best if you don't, because if you have a chair, then you're probably not putting much emphasis on the legs doing the work, the feet really working into the wall. So you want to make sure that those feet are engaged and really pressing into the wall. That's kind of super essential. Here we go. Let's keep going. Let's aim for going all the way up to 10. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Relax. Take a breath. Whew. Shake it out. You should feel your hamstrings. You should feel your inner thighs. You should feel your core working. If you're not feeling any of those things, take a moment and reassess. Are your feet in the right position? Are you really pressing with the whole foot down into the wall? Are you still trying to arch and hold your breath more often than not? So these are all just great awarenesses to have. And this is just one simple exercise that also really incorporates breath, which is so important for life, to help us get stronger and find all of those kinds of imbalances. So now I'm going to come back onto the ground, flat on the floor, just to take a second and really notice, has anything changed at all? So I come down onto the ground. Oh, wow, I feel so much flatter. And now, okay, when I first started, I could really put my whole hand underneath my back and it like wouldn't even touch the small of my back. Now my fingers touch from the moment I enter, right? On both sides. Alright, there's still space because of this position, but it's not nearly as much. And there again, Rome wasn't built in a day. We're not going to fix every single thing in just one session, but this was amazing. Great way to find awarenesses. Thank you so much for the suggestion on a Psoas release video. I hope this helps. And please make sure to reach out and let me know any other videos that you would like to see. I'd love to make them for you.